Hey Metal, it's a Schmear from Destruction, and you're watching CMS TV, the best metal.
You're always compared to Dio, and rightfully so. Your voice definitely has that timbre, I guess, in it.
Yes.
And certainly, I mean, there's worse guys you could be compared to than Ronnie James Dio, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's the man.
Has that ever held you back, though? And let me explain why. Because a lot of people will hear that you sound like it, and they won't investigate the music because they just think you're a Dio clone. Has that ever been a problem for you, or if it has, you just haven't seen it?
I don't think I have never considered it to be a problem, you know. It's, I mean, in the beginning when we started Astral Doors, we were not so, Dio influenced. But then we did one song or something where I really sounded like Dio. And the other guys, sound more like Dio, Patrik,
Right.
More Dio. So, I mean, the first couple of Astral Doors album, I really tried to sound like Dio, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's, but I think on the other albums, I think I'm more or myself. I mean, I've recorded like, I think it is now since 2003, I released 24 full-length albums.
Wow.
And so I think the more albums I make, the more Nils Patrik you get.
Chris Aiken Presents. I, of course, am Chris Aiken, and today on the show, one of my favorite singers out there, whether it's with Astral Doors or now solo work, he is Nils Patrik Johansson. He has a brand new release called War and Peace. October 10th is the date. You'll be buying it, and you will be buying it, people. Don't just stream it and be lame. And here to talk all about it is the man himself, Nils Patrik Johansson. Nils, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I've had a pretty bad cold, but I'm getting better now. But I'm still a little bit ill. But
that's not good.
Yeah, but evil is forever. So
that's right. The metal inside you will push the sickness out, right?
Yeah, always.
Right on, man. Well, dude, let's talk about this new release, War and Peace. Different kind of a record for you. I mean, it still sounds like you, obviously, but it's definitely different. I read in the press that you described it as heavy metal for history nerds, which I think is kind of a fun way to put it. So let's start there, man. Talk about why you decided to infuse history and historical moments into this music for your solo record.
Well, I have always, been written about history in Astral Doors and other bands like Civil War, and so history is my favorite topic, and it was the only in school. That was the only thing I had good grades in. That was history. I had the highest. So in all the others, I sucked, but in history, I was good. And obviously, that's because I'm interested in history, and things you are interested in, you're getting good at.
Right.
So as I said, I have always been interested in history, and this time perhaps I took it a little bit. I really wanted to focus on historical subjects, and bands like Sabaton, they have been proclaiming that they are the history band, but I have written about history long before they started, so it's my favorite subject. So it's obviously much more fun to have good stories behind the songs, instead of just writing about party night out in the town, and so, yeah, that's how I feel.
Right on, man. Well, let's dig in a little bit here, Nils. I wanted to start, before we even talk about the record, You're obviously playing now with your son Fredrik, who plays drums for you, and I believe you sang on one of his records as well.
Yes, Euphoria. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
How I work with my sons in real life in business, and for the most part, it's very easy to do, because you relate and you connect and you've kind of raised them. But then there's those moments where it's like, am I dad or am I the boss or what am I? Yeah. Talk a little bit about that in music creation. Do you have to put your dad hat on sometimes, or do you try your best to never do that, to just treat him as another bandmate?
In music, we are just like brothers, and I think it's great because he really comes up with great drum arrangements, and he's a great drummer, and I don't have anything to teach him when it comes to drumming. Of course, I started out as a drummer myself. I started to play drums when I was 9 years old or something, but he's 10 times better than I ever was. So I have nothing to teach him when it comes to drumming. On the first solo album, Evil Deluxe, he also played the drums, and he did some overplaying, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then I had to talk to him. It's overkill, Fredrik. You have to calm down a little bit. So, but on this album, he's done a perfect job. I had nothing to say. I was just pleased with his job, and we have not known. I'm not his father when it comes to music. You know what I mean? There we are, brothers.
Right on, man. Well, another one of your brothers is also involved in this, Lars Chriss, who obviously works with you in Lion's Share. He's playing guitars and bass here. Was there, and I don't know this, but was there any discussion with him to kind of keep the sound away from the Lion's Share? Because you guys do work together. You have a certain way to work with Lion's Share. Did you guys have to adapt to this?
It's totally different because here I write all the riffs and things from scratch, and he helps me to arrange it. But the music is mine. I'm the one I write everything. And in Lion's Share, he writes all the riffs. And together we come up, with the vocal melodies and the hooks and stuff. So this is really my baby. So it's no problem to separate it from Lion's Share because it's two such different things. And obviously the reason that I chose to work with Lars is because we are really close. We work great together on my 2 other solo albums and in Lion's Share, and it's a very easy way to work. And he's done a fantastic job, and he's a great producer and mixing guy. So,
right on. Right on. This episode of the CMS Network is brought to you by our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. If you are a coffee lover, you will love what they are selling over at Blackout Coffee. Make sure you get yourself some. The only thing woke about this company is the drinker of the coffee, because it gives you quite a jolt. I am a personal fan of the Brutal Awakening Dark Roast, but everybody's a little bit different. Make sure you get what is your favorite today. Go to blackoutcoffee.com. Use the promo code CHRIA20 to save 20% on your first order. It's that simple. So one more time, blackoutcoffee.com. That is the link, or use the full link if you're going to shop around, that is scrolling on the bottom, and get yourself some of the best coffee that is out there today. blackoutcoffee.com. Well, Nils, let's dig into the record a little bit. War and Peace is the album. October 10th is the date for people to buy it. I want to start with what is easily my favorite song, and I do believe this is the one you're pushing as well, which is "Stay Behind." I really love the song. Look, I'm a conspiracy guy as well, so I love the topic. Talk a little bit about the topic of this and your approach on writing within a conspiracy, because that's difficult. We can say this to fans, but it's very difficult to write about a conspiratorial topic without forcing your opinion in, which I think you did a great job of not necessarily doing. Talk a little bit about this song.
Stay Behind was, like an underground army that was started after the Second World War in Western Europe. And of course, it was conducted by the US. And everyone was afraid that the Soviet Union would attack the Western Europe. So almost all the Western countries had this underground organization called Stay Behind, an army that was prepared to go out and fight if the Russians came. My previous album, The Great Conspiracy, was about the assassination of Olof Palme, the Swedish Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. And many conspiracy guys here in Sweden think that actually Stay Behind was conducting the killing of Olof Palme. So Stay Behind is a leftover from my previous solo album.
Okay.
But we didn't have it in time, ready in time for the release. So, but I thought it was a damn good song, so I kept it, and and I really wanted to present it to the world on this album.
Right on. Definitely. Another really fun one is Two Shots in Sarajevo. Big epic sounding track. Talk a little bit about this one.
Yeah, what can I say? The shots in Sarajevo really changed the world, and it was, the underground organization. They wanted to kill, the prince or whatever, the Duke of Hungary, and they killed him and his wife, and then it all went to hell. And I mean, the first war was, of course, it never really ended, So the Second World War was just a reaction of the First World War, and so it was such a bad thing,
right.
to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The guys who shot the Duke, they thought they were fighting, for their little country there in Eastern Europe, but they really thought that they did something good, but they didn't. They unleashed hell.
Right.
Yeah, and the sound of the song is pretty, like a little. I think of it as some kind of mixture between some old Michael Schenker and Motorhead or something, And so it's pretty. It's a fun song, but of course it's a heavy subject.
Sure. Do you find yourself, Lars, writing toward the subject instead of just creating music and then filling it in with lyrics? And I'll point to a few songs. You have several songs here which are kind of worldly, whether it's Hungarian Dance or Himalaya or Great Wall of China. You have several different songs, and you sort of incorporate a little bit of their cultural sound with your own sound.
Yes.
Is that on purpose, or is that just how it fleshes out in your head, how you hear it and how you translate it?
I mean, it's tough to explain. It just happens, Usually I come up with the music first, and then I write the lyrics. But I think, for example, the Great Wall of China. I came up with the riffs and the melodies, and then I wrote the lyrics, and it became a song about the Great Wall of China. So that's why I came up with that, intro, like Chinese sounding stuff there afterwards. So yeah, it happens. It just happens. It's tough to explain how.
Sure. Right on, man. One other one that I wanted to ask you about real quick is Prodigal Son with Tommy Denander playing trumpet, which if you would have asked me for over the last 25 years, an instrument I'm not going to hear in a project that you play in, a trumpet would have been the guess. How in the world did you even hear the placement for a trumpet, let alone then write it and get Tommy to play it for you?
Okay, it's pretty easy. It's just, it's a war song, and I wanted, some kind of, like some cool intro to it, but I didn't come up with anything good. And Lars couldn't come up with any good intro either, and he's a very close friend to Tommy Denander. So he asked Tommy if he could come up with something. So he played the intro and the outro. That's Tommy Denander's. So it's not trumpet in the song. It's just intro and outro. So it's that's his effort on the album.
Right on, man.
And I can also tell you that the first version that I wrote of Prodigal Son, it was like, a ballad.
Oh.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, and I sent it to Lars. I recorded the demos, but he couldn't get a grip of it. He couldn't get, what is this, he said. I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. So he could not make a good arrangement of it. So I said, what the hell? I will rewrite it, I said. So I did a new version in, shuffle. So that's the version you hear on. Perhaps I will give up, the other version, the original, on some other album. We'll see.
Bonus track.
yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, it was great. The first version was also great, but now it's more, Thin Lizzy, Gary Moore feeling to it.
Right, certainly.
Brace yourself for the wildest ride of your life. It's the craziest book Chris Aiken has ever written, and other things I should not say. Get ready for over 500 pages of pure, unfiltered debauchery. From his military years, Chris Aiken spills the shocking stories of sex, partying, violence, and the stuff that's so wild it's probably illegal. You've heard the tales on the Classic Metal Show, but never like this. Don't wait. Get your copy now at chrisaiken.net before the censors try to shut it down.
Well, Nils, for you personally, I mean, over the years, you've heard this about yourself. You're always compared to Dio, and rightfully so. Your voice definitely has that timbre, I guess, in it.
Yes.
And certainly, I mean, there's worse guys you could be compared to than Ronnie James Dio,
Absolutely. Yeah, he's the man.
Has that ever held you back, though? And let me explain why. Because a lot of people will hear that you sound like it and they won't investigate the music because they just think you're a Dio clone. Has that ever been a problem for you, or if it has, you just haven't seen it?
I don't think I have never considered it to be a problem, it's, I mean, in the beginning when we started Astral Doors, we were not so, Dio influenced, but then we did one song or something where I really sounded like Dio, and the other guys, sound more like Dio, Patrik, more Dio. So, I mean, the first couple of Astral Doors album, I really tried to sound like Dio, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's, but I think on the other albums, I think I'm more and more myself. I mean, I've recorded like, I think it is now since 2003, I released 24 full-length albums.
Wow.
And so I think the more albums I make, the more Nils Patrik you get.
Right.
And so, you know what I mean?
Right. And like we said before, too, being compared to Ronnie James Dio, that's about as good as it gets, I would think, for a singer, yes?
Yes, of course. I mean, he's been when I started to listen to heavy metal back in the 80s, you know, he was my first hero. And but as I said, I started out as a drummer. But then we started a band and we had no singer, so I played the drums and sang, you know, at the same time, you know. And after a very short while, everyone, including me, realized that I was a much, much, much better singer than I was a drummer. So
Sure.
so we brought in another drummer, and then I just sang.
Right.
And then some guy said, we should try to play, you know, the Rainbow song, Long Live Rock and Roll.
Mhm.
I said, no, I cannot sing that. It's impossible, you know. But I tried, and I really had to scream and use all my lungs to sing that song. And everyone, when we were ready, damn, Patrick, you sound like Dio. I said, wow, thank you. So, and the rest is history.
Right. Definitely, man. Well, Patrick, with putting out the new record here, War and Peace, which is out on October the 10th,
Yeah.
you know, people are going to want to see these songs live. Is there going to be any chance of that? I mean, you do have other bands that you're in. Is there time to do it, or ability to do it, or what?
I think that slowly but surely we are getting in that direction, because I mean, now I have 3 solo albums out, and if I do a live show as a solo artist, I can play songs from all my other groups as well, you know. So I would have one hell of a repertoire.
Right.
Sort of. Yeah. So yeah. What can I say? We're gonna release actually a comeback album next year of Lions Year.
Okay.
And we will go in March, and we will go out touring and do festivals. So that's my first priority. But I also have a lot of other projects. I'm thinking about starting a new heavy metal festival here in my hometown.
Oh, wow.
And you know, try to get some good. I have good contacts. I know many great bands. So I think we could make, you know, a really great metal festival here in the middle of Sweden. You know, we have the big Sweden Rock, but that's in the south of Sweden, you know. So I really think it could be so. And of course, if I make my own festival, I will, of course, consider to do a solo appearance.
Sure.
That could be something. And try to invite, you know, like Hammerfall or some other great bands.
Right on. Is that I would imagine, and I don't know. I mean, I've booked shows, little shows here and there, and I just could look for as just a regular guy booking a show. When I'm booking a show trying to get 150 people in a club, that's nerve-wracking. That drives you crazy as you lead up. I can't even imagine coming into this booking a festival with 8-12 bands on it and crowd and police and all, you know, food and all the stuff that you have to do with it. What is leading you to want to do, not that you're not capable of doing it, but what makes you want to take on such a huge responsibility?
Well, it's a pretty interesting story, because here in Borlänge, the town where I live in Sweden, we actually had Sweden's biggest festival. But it went bankrupt, you know, like 7-8 years ago. It was called Peace and Love Festival. Okay. And it was like 60,000 people attending. And I got in contact with the guy that was in charge of the festival, and he wants to cooperate with me, and he wants us to, with my contacts and his, you know, he knows the business side of it, and he wants us to start a new festival. We'll see what happens.
Sure.
It could be fun, but I mean, it's music. I love music, you know. And if I can make people happy to create a new metal festival, yeah, I would be glad to do it.
I don't know, Patrick, to do a project that big. I think the next time I see you, you might have all gray hair from doing that.
Yeah. I color it, so it's no problem.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick, with the new record, War and Peace, out on October the 10th, we tell everybody on this show not to just stream it. It's okay if they do stream it, but they got to buy something, right? That's the only way you can support the bands these days is to buy a vinyl, buy a CD, buy a keychain, a hat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where's the best place for us to tell people to go to buy product from you?
Wow. Tough question. but of course, Amazon or something. Okay. I guess they must have the album, and also my record label Metalville. You can go to their shop.
Okay.
Of course. Unfortunately, there are not so many record stores open these days. It's crazy. We have one in my hometown, and it sucks. I mean,
that's more than I got in my town. I got none. Right. So, you know.
I mean, in Stockholm, we have like a couple. I mean, Stockholm is a big town, but perhaps they have 10 record shops. So it sucks.
Yeah, it's different now. That's for, I'm 56, so I grew up in that era, probably same as you. When we were kids, what did you do? You went to the mall and you went to this record store, then you went to the one downstairs to that record store. Then you compared the prices, and then you figured out which one to go to buy the record that you wanted.
Yeah, those were the days, man.
They were, man. Good stuff.
Well, I remember when Dio, Holy Diver, his first album, me and my best friend, we knew exactly what day it would be released. So we stood there, at the record store and just waited. I mean, those were the days.
Right. It's a lost thing, man. It's something you can't explain to the kids today, how much fun that was.
No, it's impossible. They don't understand.
No. All they think it's funny because even when I talk to my kids or my nieces or whatever, they think old school is having an iTunes card and buying something with it. And I'm like, iTunes card, that doesn't even translate to when we used to take the album and memorize all the credits and it's just different. We had more of a love, I believe, for music than today's kids.
But I must say that I'm glad that the interest for vinyls seems to be bigger and bigger. So that's fantastic.
It is.
I think so. Always something. What can I say?
No, you're right.
So we just have to go on and on and on.
Right on. Well, we are going on and on and on with War and Peace, which is a killer new record. October the 10th is the date. Everybody needs to be buying it. Don't just stream it, people, please. It is Nils Patrik Johansson. And Nils, this has been fun, man. Thanks for joining me here on Chris.
Thank you, man. Nice to meet you again.